She leaned in and kissed him, right there in front of me. No shame. No hesitation. Just lips on lips, her hand on his chest, her wedding ring catching the glow of the rooftop bar lights like it meant nothing. That moment? That was the exact second I stopped being her husband and started being her enemy. I wasn't supposed to be there. Madison thought I was home, probably drinking tea like the clueless, boring husband she'd started resenting. But I was there. Watching. I followed her because something in my gut screamed tonight was different. And God, it was. This wasn't just a casual flirtation or a harmless drink with a friend. This was calculated. Planned. She had texted him, "I'm here," while pulling into the lot. I know, because I saw the message when she stupidly left her phone on the passenger seat when she ran inside. Rookie mistake. I wasn't angry at first. I was stunned. Numb. Frozen in my car, watching through the windshield like I was trapped in some twisted movie. You hear about this stuff. You never think it's gonna be you. But it was me. My name's Ryan. And until 3 hours ago, I thought I was happily married. Now I'm the idiot husband whose wife is out on a date with some well-groomed gym bro named Brad. That's right, his name was literally Brad. Can you get more cliché? He looked like everything I'm not: ripped, arrogant, cocky. Probably one of those guys who takes gym selfies and flexes in elevators. And there she was, Madison, sitting across from him in that tight dress I bought her last Christmas. The one she said was too much to wear around me. But for him? Perfect fit. I didn't storm in. Not yet. I waited. I watched. I needed to know what kind of betrayal I was dealing with. The kind that ends in tears and apologies, or the kind that ends in war. Madison sipped her drink, leaned across the table, and whispered something into Brad's ear. He smirked. She laughed. She touched his hand. Then his thigh. Yeah. War it is. I recorded the whole thing. My phone was shaking, but I got it. Her smile. His smug face. The moment her wedding ring tapped against his wine glass when they toasted to something wild, as I lip-read it. And still, I waited. I wanted more. I wanted proof. Then she said it. Loud enough for me to hear, even across the bar. My husband? He thinks I'm at yoga class. He's probably journaling about his feelings or making quinoa again. They laughed. Together. I almost walked in right then and smashed that wine glass against Brad's perfectly gelled hair. But I didn't. Because something inside me clicked. She wasn't just cheating. She enjoyed humiliating me. She thought I was weak. And that was her biggest mistake. Because now I had everything I needed. Proof. Motivation. Fire. I walked back to her car and texted her from my phone, "Hope yoga's going well. Don't forget to stretch." I watched her glance at her phone and freeze. That look, pure fear. Yeah, Madison. Game on. The moment she read my text, the blood drained from her face like someone had pulled a plug. Brad leaned in, confused. "What's wrong?" he mouthed. Madison shook her head too quickly, forced a nervous laugh, and tucked her phone away like it was burning her hand. I stood across the street, hidden in the shadows, watching everything. And for the first time in this nightmare, I smiled. Let her panic. Let her sweat. After weeks of being lied to, dismissed, and gaslit, I was finally in control. She wanted to treat our marriage like a game? Fine. I was done playing fair. She tried to keep the date going, but her vibe changed completely. She wasn't laughing anymore. She was fidgeting, eyes darting to the entrance like she expected me to walk in any second. Brad picked up on it too. He kept asking if she was okay, but she just kept saying, "It's nothing. I forgot I had to call someone later." Line number 347, probably. After 10 more minutes of awkward small talk and fake smiles, she stood up. Grabbed her purse. Brad looked annoyed, like his Friday night fun was about to get cancelled. She leaned down and whispered something in his ear, maybe promising him later, maybe giving him some excuse. Either way, she was out the door, walking fast in those heels like she was running from guilt itself. And where did she go? Right to her car. Right to where she thought she left her phone, which I had sneakily placed back on her seat. I was parked one level up, watching from the rooftop of the garage, completely out of sight. She opened the door, looked inside, and froze. She saw the phone, saw that it had moved, and for a second, her expression cracked. Paranoia. Raw, unfiltered fear. Then her eyes narrowed. She looked around like she knew someone was watching. Good. I wanted her to feel it. The same pit in the stomach I felt when I saw that kiss. The same rage that boiled over when she mocked me to Brad like I was some harmless background character in her glamorous little drama. She sat in the car and just stared at the wheel. 5 minutes. 10. No calls. No texts. Just silence. Then she finally drove off. I followed. Not to hurt her. Not to cause a scene. But because I wanted to know how deep the rabbit hole went. What else was she hiding? How long had this been going on? Was Brad the only one? She didn't go home. She drove to a hotel. A goddamn hotel. I stayed back, watching from across the street, parked in the shadows like a hunter. She walked inside alone. No Brad. No one with her. Just her, and whatever shame she was trying to bury. I waited for 10 minutes. Then 20. And then, Brad arrived. My hands gripped the wheel so tight I thought I'd snap it off. He was casual, smiling, like he'd done this before. Maybe this wasn't even the first hotel. Maybe this was their place. Their little playground behind my back. He walked in without hesitation. I sat there stunned. Not at what they were doing, but at how normal it all felt to them. How effortless. Like wrecking someone's life was just another Friday night. And that's when I made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her there. I wasn't going to kick down the hotel room door or scream in the lobby. No. I was going to hit her where it hurt the most. Home. She thought she could juggle 2 lives without consequence? She had no idea the storm that was coming. By the time she snuck back into the house the next morning, I was already at the kitchen table, calm, silent, sipping my coffee like I didn't just watch her walk into a hotel with another man. She opened the door like a teenager sneaking in past curfew, trying not to make a sound. Hair messy. Makeup half wiped. She wore the same tight black dress from the night before. No shame. No apology. Not even a flinch when she saw me. "Oh, you're up early," she said, voice light, casual, like I hadn't just watched her commit emotional murder with a smile. I didn't respond. I just looked at her. Let the silence choke the air. Let her try to act like she still held any cards. She walked past me like nothing had happened, grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge. Yoga was intense. We had a guest instructor, she added, barely suppressing a smirk. A guest instructor. Right. That's what they call it now. I wanted to scream. To throw the bottle out of her hand and ask her how stupid she thought I was. But I didn't. I let her dig deeper. "How was your night?" she asked, pretending to scroll her phone. "I followed you," I said flatly. Her head snapped up. "What?" "I followed you, Madison. From the moment you walked out last night until you walked into that hotel with Brad. I saw everything." Her lips parted, but no words came out. Her face drained of color like someone had just flipped a switch. That fake confident mask she wore? It cracked in a second. She blinked. Stared. Then said the most insulting thing she possibly could have. "You're overreacting." Overreacting. To watching my wife wrap herself around another man like she'd never even heard of me. Overreacting, after recording her giggling about me like I was a damn clown. That's what she had to say. I stood up slowly, pushed the chair in, and walked toward her. She stepped back instinctively. "I heard what you said about me. That I'm soft. Boring. That I probably cook quinoa and journal. That hurt more than watching you kiss him. Ryan, I was just..." She started, but I raised a hand. "No. You don't get to speak right now. You don't get to pretend this was some accident or that I'm making it bigger than it is. You planned this. You lied to my face for weeks. And not just once, every single day." She crossed her arms, defense mode kicking in. "So what now? You gonna cry? Smash my phone? What do you want, Ryan?" A scene? No, I said. I want you out. Silence. She laughed once, nervously. You're serious? I'm done being the guy you mock behind his back. I'm done funding your lifestyle while you play housewife by day and street performer by night. Get your things, Madison. You're not welcome here anymore. That got her. The smirk vanished. Her jaw clenched. And for the first time, she looked scared. You don't have the balls. I stepped closer. I already changed the locks on your studio. Cancelled the joint credit cards. The only thing you'll be leaving this house with is the suitcase you came with. She opened her mouth again, but I walked past her, grabbed my car keys, and opened the front door. You've got 2 hours. And then I left. Not to cool off. Not to think. I left because I had a meeting with a lawyer. I wasn't going to let her control the narrative. I was going to control the ending. By the time I returned home that afternoon, her car was gone. The house was eerily quiet, no click of heels, no fake laughter echoing from the kitchen, no scent of her expensive perfume suffocating the hallway. Just silence. And for the first time in months, it actually felt like my house again. She left behind exactly what I expected: a few hangers, an empty wine bottle on the counter, and a note. A damn note. Like this was a movie, and she wanted the final word before the credits rolled. Ryan, you're blowing this way out of proportion. I didn't do anything you haven't done. You've been distant for months, lost in your books and boring routines. Brad was a wake-up call. I needed to feel wanted again. I'm sorry it had to come to this, but maybe it's better for both of us. I read it twice, then crumpled it and tossed it into the trash where it belonged. It was the final lie. One last shot to blame me for her betrayal. Let's set the record straight. I didn't cheat. I didn't even flirt. I was boring because I was trying. I cooked for her. Took her on surprise weekend trips. Listened to her drama, supported her projects. I gave her peace while she chased chaos. But now she had chaos. And I had clarity. I walked upstairs and opened the closet. Half her clothes were gone, but she left the red heels I bought her for our anniversary, probably because Brad didn't like them. I sat on the bed, the mattress still dented on her side, and stared at the wall. All the little details started crawling out from the past few months. Her new lingerie, she said, was just for herself. The late night gym sessions, the locked phone, the sudden need for privacy in a house we built together. It wasn't just one night. It had been unraveling for a long time, thread by thread. I opened her laptop. Yeah, I know it's petty. But I needed to see. And what I found? Messages. Tons of them. Brad was just one of the guys. There was a Kevin from Miami. A Jason from work. Even some idiot she called T. All of them had the same flirty tone, the same winks, the same promises of fun nights soon. She hadn't been mine in a long time. Maybe never. She was playing everyone, me, them, herself. But while she was off playing games, I was preparing my move. I called my lawyer again. We set the papers in motion: divorce, asset separation, and most importantly, a restraining clause on any financial access. I wasn't about to let her drain the accounts like she drained my patience. And then I did something cold. I texted her a screenshot of all the messages. Every single one. Grouped neatly. Time-stamped. Labeled. Thanks for the wake-up call. Hope the circus was worth it. She didn't respond. Not immediately. But 3 hours later, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Brad. Hey man, he said, voice awkward and tense. I think there's something you should know about Madison. I froze. You think you know her? He said. You really don't? I let him talk. And what he told me next? It changed everything I thought I knew about how deep her betrayal went. Brad's voice cracked halfway through his second sentence. I didn't know she was married when we met, he said. She told me she was single. Divorced, actually. I stayed quiet, letting him talk. My hands were clenched around the phone, knuckles white. The guy who kissed my wife, who walked into a hotel with her, was now playing the clueless victim. Either he was lying, or Madison was even better at this game than I thought. She said her ex-husband was controlling. He continued. Emotionally cold. That she'd escaped a toxic relationship and was trying to start over. I almost laughed. Escaped? I was the one cooking dinner while she was escaping into another man's arms. I was the one asking her if she felt happy, planning getaways, reading her moods like weather patterns just to keep the peace. She told me you hit her once, Brad added. That made me freeze. What? I said, my voice suddenly sharp. That's why I'm calling you, man. Look, I wouldn't have gone near her if I'd known. But after you sent her those screenshots, she broke down. Said she was scared of you. Said you were violent. I had to hear it from you. Did you, ever? No, I snapped. Not once. I've never laid a hand on her. Ever. Yeah, Brad muttered. That's what I thought. The more I replay it all, the more I realize she was always shifting the story. Always playing victim. She made me feel like I had to protect her. Like I had to be the man you weren't. There it was. The final piece of her twisted puzzle. She hadn't just lied to me. She'd built an entire alternate reality, casting herself as the wounded angel, surrounded by cruel men and big feelings, just so she could keep manipulating anyone who got too close. Me. Brad. Probably others. She used me. He finally admitted. And I feel like a damn idiot. Yeah, I said. Me too. There was a pause. If it's any consolation, she told me you were boring. He added. But honestly, man, from what I've seen, you're the only one who kept things real. I hung up. I didn't need consolation from the guy who spent the night with my wife. Even if he was fooled. Even if he was trying to make things right. It didn't matter. None of them mattered now. The next few days blurred into one long series of endings. I changed the locks on the house. Blocked her on everything. Sent the divorce papers through my lawyer with an itemized list of her lies as an attachment, just to remind her I wasn't the weak man she thought she married. And then, one night, she showed up at my door. I didn't open it. She stood outside for 15 minutes, knocking softly at first, then harder, calling my name. I watched through the peephole. She looked tired. Worn down. Her makeup was smudged, hair tied up sloppily. Not the polished vixen from the rooftop bar, just a woman whose mask had cracked. Ryan, she called. Please. Can we talk? I stayed silent. Because what could she say? What could possibly come out of her mouth that would undo the months of betrayal, the smirks, the lies, the alternate lives? Eventually, she gave up. Walked back down the porch and got into her car. And I realized something in that moment. She didn't want me back. She just hated that I wasn't crawling after her anymore. A week passed. No more calls. No more knocks. Madison went quiet. I should have felt peace, maybe even satisfaction. But what I felt was sharper. Like my brain wouldn't let the war end because it hadn't seen justice, not yet. Not after everything she did. But the silence? That was just the calm before the storm. On a Thursday morning, I got a message from a mutual friend, Jenna, someone who always tried to stay neutral. It read, "Hey, have you seen what Madison posted?" I opened Instagram. Her page was private now. I had to look from my burner account. Yeah, I made one. After the hotel night, I started thinking 3 moves ahead. And there it was. A picture of her at a park, holding a latte, smiling like the world loved her. Caption. Starting over. Healing from years of control and quiet abuse. Thank you to everyone who supported me. I finally feel free. Over 100 likes. Dozens of comments. You're so brave. Proud of you. Glad you got out. And just like that, she flipped the script. She turned me into the villain. The man who worked double shifts to pay off her credit cards. The guy who folded her laundry while she texted other men in the bathroom. The husband who forgave too much and asked for too little. And I realized, this wasn't about love. Or even betrayal. It was about control. Madison couldn't stand losing the narrative. So she changed it. She couldn't make me cry anymore, so she made sure others thought I made her cry. I sat back in my chair, staring at that screen, rage flooding every nerve. And for a second, I nearly typed something. A comment. A post. A full truth dump to expose every dirty little secret she thought was buried under hotel sheets and text threads. But then I stopped. Because I knew something she didn't. I didn't need revenge. I already won. She was posting filtered lies, begging for validation from strangers. I was rebuilding. Quietly. Steadily. With dignity. And if that didn't hurt her more than any public shaming ever could, then she was more broken than I thought. Still, I wasn't going to let her walk away clean. So I sent a final message, one she couldn't twist, delete, or screenshot to play the victim. I mailed her the divorce papers myself. No lawyer courier. No cold email. Just an envelope. Handwritten. One line on the note inside. You can lie to the world. But you and I both know the truth. She received it 2 days later. I didn't hear back. Not a text. Not a call. Not a whimper. And I didn't need to. Because the woman who had spent our whole marriage demanding attention, twisting every moment into drama, couldn't find a single word to say when faced with truth. That's when I knew it was truly over. Not just legally. Emotionally. She was gone. But so was the version of me that tolerated her. The man who let her talk over him. Laugh behind his back. The one who thought loyalty meant silence, even when he was bleeding. He was dead. In his place? A man who knew exactly what he'd survived, and would never let anyone, ever again, try to reduce him to a footnote in their story. 3 months passed. 3 long, clean months without her in my life. At first, it was weird waking up alone. No clinking of her stupid crystal skincare bottles. No passive-aggressive sighs over breakfast. No fake smiles hiding darker plans. Just silence. And slowly, that silence became peace. I started running again. Sleeping better. Even got back into music, something I dropped because she said it was a childish hobby. Funny how freedom doesn't make a sound when it arrives, but you feel it deep in your chest when it does. But Madison? She wasn't done. It started small. A missed call from a private number. Then a friend texted me saying Madison had been asking about me. He's probably already moved on, she'd said, laughing. Always the performance. Always trying to control the version of me that lived in people's minds. But her best act was yet to come. It was a Saturday when it happened. I was having lunch with Jenna, the same friend who'd warned me about the Instagram post. Not a date. Just company. We were laughing about something dumb when my phone buzzed. From Madison. Hey. Can we talk? Just one last time. Please. I stared at the screen, not answering. Jenna saw the name, her smile fading. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said. Just another ghost from a house that's already burned down. Still, later that night, curiosity got the better of me. I texted back. Talk. But only once. One phone call. 5 minutes. She agreed. And at 9 p.m. sharp, she called. The voice on the other end? Soft. Sweet. Too sweet. Hi. I've been thinking a lot lately. She began, like we were old friends catching up, not two people who once shared a bed and a battlefield. I didn't say anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. She continued. For everything. I wasn't in a good place back then. I know I hurt you, and I hate how things ended. I just wish we could have talked it out more. That last sentence? That's what broke the illusion. Talked it out, I said. Madison, you mocked me to other men. Lied to my face for months. You didn't want a husband, you wanted a stage. And now that the audience stopped clapping, you want to rehearse the past like it's a scene you can rewrite? Silence. Then she tried another trick. I miss the way you made me feel safe, she said softly. Even when I didn't deserve it. Maybe we gave up too fast? There it was. The hook. She'd fished for sympathy, wrapped it in nostalgia, and cast the line hoping I'd bite. I didn't. Look, I said. I'm not calling you to relive anything. I agreed to talk because I wanted to hear the real you. Not the character you play. So say what you came to say. She paused. Her breathing changed. I wanted to know if you'd consider giving us another shot. I've changed, Ryan. I see things now. I know you're the only one who ever really loved me. It could have been a moment. For someone else, maybe it would have worked. But me? I'd finally woken up. I did love you, I said. But I also buried myself trying to be enough for you. I bent so far trying to keep you happy that I forgot who I was. And now? I like who I'm becoming. And that man doesn't belong in your world anymore. She didn't respond. She just breathed into the phone. Like she couldn't believe the script didn't go her way this time. And I ended the call. Not with an insult. Not with rage. Just with peace. Because the most powerful revenge is moving on without looking back. I never heard from Madison again after that call. No more texts. No more fake apologies. No more gaslighting dressed as affection. Just silence. And I didn't miss her. Not even a little. Instead, I started to rebuild, this time, with intention. I got back into shape, not for revenge or to prove anything to anyone, but because I owed it to myself. I changed my routines. Threw out every item that reminded me of her. Even the couch we bought together, gone. It all went out with the trash where the rest of her memories belong. People say time heals everything. That's a lie. Time doesn't heal you. Choices do. I chose to be done with her games. I chose to stop rewinding our story hoping the ending would change. I chose to move forward. And the more I did, the more the fog lifted. It wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about rediscovering the parts of myself she tried to bury. My creativity, my confidence, my damn voice. Madison wasn't just a mistake. She was a mirror. She showed me what happens when you stop setting boundaries. When you love someone more than you love your own sanity. When you accept crumbs while they eat full meals behind your back. But now, I was full. And free. One evening I was walking through the park, same one she'd taken that fake Instagram picture in, when I saw her. Across the field. Alone. Sitting on a bench, scrolling through her phone. For a second, she looked up. We locked eyes. Her expression didn't change. No smile. No wave. Just this blank look, like she wasn't sure whether to be angry or embarrassed. Like she knew deep down she'd lost something real, and it wasn't coming back. I didn't stop. I didn't speak. I walked right past her like she was a stranger, because that's all she ever really was. A beautiful stranger who wore a convincing mask until it cracked under pressure. When I got home that night, I opened my laptop and started writing again. Not about her. Not about the pain. About me. About the journey from being broken to being unshakable. About how sometimes the best thing someone can do for you is betray you. Because it wakes you up. It strips away the fantasy. It burns everything down so you have no choice but to rebuild something stronger, better, yours. Now when people ask about her, I don't flinch. I just smile and say, she taught me how low someone can go when they think they've got you trapped. And then I tell them the truth. I didn't lose a wife. I escaped a lie. I never got the apology I deserved. Never heard the full confession. But I don't need it. I have peace. I have clarity. And most of all, I have myself again. So if you're reading this, and you've been cheated on, humiliated, tossed aside by someone who swore they'd never hurt you, don't waste time trying to make sense of their choices. Focus on yours. Rebuild. Evolve. Become someone they wouldn't even recognize, because you finally stopped shrinking to fit their fantasy. That's what I did. And it saved my life.